You know we be with it, we off in the hood like some wizards. Nobody ever gave us anything. Miss something from nothing, just like magicians. Gotta relearn everything. Just to remember that I was forgetting. Just to remember that we had a vision. Did it all, don't know how I did it. Time to go star season to go and you know those crystal truth. Let them know we in here, yeah, we in the building. Star season to go and you know those crystal children. Back up in the matrix, yeah, we know the vision. Star season to go and you know those crystal children. Let them know we in here, yeah, we in the building. Star season to go and you know those crystal children. Back up in the matrix, yeah, we know the vision. Off on the mission, you know how it goes. Off in the system, they turn up their nose. They took all the soil, but they didn't know. Through the concrete, you see the roads. Eyes ain't open, don't mean I ain't woke. Ain't got no cash, don't mean that I'm broke.
Welcome. Part 2. Ascending beyond limitations. Stepping into the unknown. Come on, let's take a big leap. Matter of fact, make it a hop. Let's make it known. Are you ready? I am. Hi, Marcus. Welcome.
Hello, Sandee, and usually it's grand rising or grand day, but in this occasion, grand night to you.
Yeah.
It's really nice to be
Glorious
able to share space again today and pick up where we left off on Ascending Beyond Limitations, episode 5, that we did earlier today at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern. And we covered a little bit about what it means to learn through the different ascended masters, guides, and other figures that have incarnated here on this planet, embodying the teachings, as well as going through the different disciplines necessary when it comes to the awareness of self, to be able to ground in and anchor our higher purpose, become more aware of the mission, the unique blueprint that we each individually have encoded within our DNA that supplies us the guidance and the information on a higher level, on a balanced level of wholeness, that is able to remind us and awaken the parts within that align with our higher soul purpose and mission. Sandee, how are you?
I'm good. I'm glad to be back. I'm glad we could continue this. We could continue the creation order, or at least the belief of how Ra presents the creation order. Because the divine has sent many ascended masters to teach us about the creation and give it to us from where we're at when we open ourselves up to learning. Right? If you're a scientist and you're just open to awareness, there's going to be an ascended master who can tell you in scientific terms the creation. It's all just about the labels that you have within you, that you're learning through and by and from others, right? So Ra has given us the information about creation being infinity, becoming aware of itself, being infinity, becoming love, the metaphysics of infinity, as it is to all its gravity parts, being part of the large law of one, or even the small, minute particles of the law of one, right? So this evening, the divine said, kick it off. And I said, well, what you want to kick it off with? And the divine said, well, Ra is a channeled, or the raw materials is a channeled book, reading, information. So let's talk a little bit about channeling from the precept of Ra, the question asked to Ra about channeling, about the gift of information. We all say we get downloads. Downloads is a form of channeling. It's a channeling, the divine is channeling their information into us. So we can take what resonates and we can leave what doesn't. And guess what? You can read in between the lines of what's being said and see if there's something for your highest and greatest good. So at least I'm going to honor the divine and say, all right, we'll start there. I'll start there. Let's get it going. So what we're going to do is, I've made this statement before, and I'm going to read it again so that it puts it in the proximity of where we left off as far as Ra is concerned. The questioner asks, of what density level is Ra? Ra says, I am Ra. I am 6th density with a strong seeking towards 7th density. We talked about that. Seeking is intention. Ra, the entity called Ra, is a complex entity. It's all of a planet that merged all as one in the law of one, and they became this complex density or entity, right? And their intention is to shift and evolve into 7th density, or the 7th a process of incarnation. All right. He says, the harvest for us will be in only approximately 2.5 million of your years. Ra always gives us what our mind or linear can comprehend. But that doesn't mean that it takes like 2 million years. That could be a blink of an eye. Every time I read it, the divine says a blink of an eye. A blink of an eye. There we go. How quick did I do that? And I could probably even do it quicker, right? So then Ra goes on to say, and it is our desire to be ready for harvest as it approaches in our space, in our continuum. The questioner asks, and you're ready? No, I'll slow it down. And you ready yourselves for this harvest through the service you can provide. Because Ra is saying, he said it before, and he will continue saying it throughout the book. He is here for service to all. and therefore service to self. That's what our higher beings are here to endeavor to strive to be, see, feel, grow, and expand through. The positive polarity, service to self, therefore service to all, law of one, or service to the negative is just service to self without caring about service to all. Service to self, no matter who you walk over to get what you need. Service to self and inflicting those and putting pain on somebody to get what you need. Our higher beings get to try on both. We get to go into the fitting room and try them on. We get to see how they fit us. Some higher beings actually go with the flow of the lower levels. By the time they get to merge back with the divine, they turn around and say, hey, I want to try it again. But they don't choose human bodies to do it. They just want to be part of the process. So they become the consciousnesses of those things that we want and desire, or those things that we believe and need. And that includes fear. So guess what? If you believe in the devil, then that higher being that has chose that lesser polarity will be your incarnation of a devil. And its thought process is to include you in its processes. It wants to acclimate itself to be your ego. That's what Ra says. Doesn't mean it has to be. It means it's just one of infinite possibilities. All right. Could you imagine that our higher beings had that choice, free will choice, to choose either a negative or a positive polarity? And then throw in the mix that we, as in our form bodies, get to make a free will choice. And oh boy, can we take our higher beings for a ride. Oh, my boy. Big boy, little boy, every type of boy. Oh my, right? Okay, so let's keep going. Then the questioner says, or Ra says, this is correct. We offer the law of one, the solving of the paradoxes, the balance of love, light, and light, love. You want to know what the difference is between when Ra was saying love, light, and light, love? Love, light is the enabled power, the energy giver. That's the divine, right? Okay. And light, love, is the manifestation which occurs when light has been impressed into love or impressed by love. All of them are divine. One is the divine in intention, and the other is divine in action. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Let's keep going. Then the questioner says, how long is one of your cycles? Ra says, I am Ra. One of our cycles computes to be 75 million of your years. The questioner says 75 million years. And Ra says, I am Ra. That is correct. The questioner asked, and here we get to the juicy part that the divine wants me to share. The questioner asked, in your service in giving the law of one, do you work with any other planets than Earth at this time, or is it just Earth? Ra says, I am Ra. We work with only this planetary sphere at this time, at the time that this was channeled and written. Ra said, only Earth. All right. The questioner says, You state that you were called by 352,000 Earth entities. Does this mean that it is the number that will understand and accept the law of one? Ra says, I am Ra. We cannot estimate the correctness of your statement, for those who call are not in every case available to understand the answer to their calling. Moreover, those who were not calling previously may with great trauma. So some called, some didn't. Some called with trauma, some didn't call with trauma. Right? So it's hard to answer that question based on our free will statement, our free will choices. All Ross says is we were called, right? But then he goes on to say, there is no time space in the call. Therefore, we cannot estimate the number of your mind, body, spirit complexes. You want a number, we can't give you a number, but we can tell you that it's approximately 352,000 Earth entities, approximately. Right? Let's keep going. This is what the divine wants you to know. The questioner asks, how do you normally perform your service of giving of the law of one? How have you done this over the last 2,300 years? How have you normally given this to Earth people? I am Ra. We used channels such as this one, right? At that time, they used individual people to channel through in such the way that they're set up now. As they were set up, this was also scientists setting it up and doing it certain procedures, having the Bible there, having the healing water there, making sure that she laid at a certain in a certain direction, so that the vessel could could be accessed by the channeler Ra. Okay, we're getting to it, right? So Ra says, we have used channels such as this one, but in most cases, the channels feel inspired to dream, there we go, and vision without being aware consciously of our identity or essence, or even existence. This particular group has been accentually trained to recognize such contacts. This makes this group able to be aware of a focal or vibrational source of information. So then the questioner says, I assume as the cycle ends and inconvenience occurs, there will be some entities who start seeking or be catalyzed into seeking because of the trauma. Then they will hear your words telepathically or in written form, such as this book. Is this correct? Ross says you are correct, except in understanding that the inconvenience have begun. The questioner says, can you tell me who was responsible for transmitting the book of, I'm going to spell it because I'm going to have Marcus help me pronounce the word. It's spelled OAHSPE. Can you pronounce the name? Is it Oshep?
He said OAH.
Yeah, OAHSPE. Upshepi. let's learn more. Maybe they'll tell us who this is. Okay. Ra says, I am Ra. This was transmitted by one of Confederation social memory complex status, whose idea has offered to the council. Okay, so he's saying this one entity is a Federation social memory complex, just like he is, or they are. All right. It says, was used. It was used to some of the known physical history of the so-called religions or religious distortions of your cycle in order to veil, right, and unveil aspects of primal distortions of the law of one. Okay, all names can be taken to be created for the vibrational characteristics. The information buried within has to do with a deeper understanding of love light and the attempts of infinite intelligence through many messengers to teach/learn those entities of your sphere. Right? So we have many channelers coming in to channel. When you're having, when you're, the divine wants you to know, when you have someone coming into channel, it's okay to ask who they are. And if they're giving you information for, first off, your highest and greatest good before you decide to give it to others. That's what your feelings and your emotions are for. That's your discernment. That's your discernment. Because remember, we have higher beings that decided to turn around and not merge back with the divine, and they've taken on lower polarity vibrations to be accessible in third density. They've taken on the mission to be the energy that you want to create, whether it's positive or negative for you. So they're going to come and you could say, I'm being bombarded by aliens and they're trying to hurt me and kill me. You get to ask, who are you? Show yourself. Reveal yourself. Tell me what your purpose is for me, through me, with me.
There you go, Sandee. This is so it was published in 1882. It was called the New Bible. And John Newbrough was a medium, and it is said that he received channeled messages through Jehovah and his angel host through automatic writing on a typewriter. And this book contains new revelations about history and the destiny of humanity.
Oh.
And it created a new religion called Cosmon.
The Cosmon.
Whoa.
See, we're learning. Whoa, we're just learning. Now, you take what resonates, because there's going to be something in there that resonates for you. Everything that is said may not resonate. You might take something and go, oh, that's new. And then everything else you go, oh, no, that doesn't feel good. That's what your feelings are for. That's what your emotions are for. Those help you discern.
Thank you
right? Okay.
Thank you to Fifi for putting that in the comments.
In your comments or mine? I can't see mine. I'm logged on to yours.
Oh, it was yours.
Okay. So the next questioner has, and these are embodying questions that you can always ask. If you've got you're saying your angels are giving you information, downloads, hey, it's okay to sit at the seat of your soul and go, okay, tell me about this download. Is it for my highest and greatest good? Is it If I'm sharing this with others, is it going to be for their highest and greatest good? You can have a conversation with your angels. You can have a conversation with your higher beings, your generational family. You can have this conversation. You don't have to take it on and just go, oh, I'll just go with the flow. It's a download. I'll just go with it. You got to find out who's giving you the downloads. I mean, it's all the law of one, but we've got polarity, right? And it's okay. It's certainly okay to ask. Like I remember Fifi, if he's still in here, he says he doesn't. If he gets a download, he discerns it before he reveals it. And when I heard that from him, that was like, whoa, to me, that's like, okay, that means it's kind of like it's like I'm proofreading what I'm about to, and you get to say, okay, I'm proofreading this, divine. Let thy words be my words and my words be thy words. I want to make sure when I'm giving this out that, I'm not tainting it. I'm not making it to sound like something I want it to sound like. I'm not doing it to show off me. Right? And don't get the divine wants you to know, don't get it twisted just because higher beings have free will and they decide that they want to turn around. They don't have to merge. At 5D and 6D, they get the opportunity to turn around and do the incarnation all again. But the incarnation does not have to be in form body. They can do it in the form of consciousnesses, being your situations or your circumstances. They can do it being your catalysts. They can do it being your triggers or your opportunities or no opportunities, because all they are higher beings or energy, right? So you get to discern who's talking to you, who's decided to come into your dreams and give you a code. Okay, and then the questioner says, have there been any other books that you can name that are available for this purpose that has been given by the Confederation? Ra says, I am Ra. We cannot share this information, for it would distort your discernment pattern in your future. You may ask about a particular volume. The questioner says, who transmitted the, okay, I'm going to spell another one. I believe it's called Urantia book. Urantia book. Now, I haven't heard of that book. But Ra says, I am Ra. This was given by a series of disincarnate, here we go, entities of your own earth plane, the so-called inner planes. This material is not passed by the council. Okay? Uh-oh. So what were we just talking about? All right.
We're getting in the thick of things now.
Right. The questioner says, who spoke through Edgar? And his name was Casey, Cayce.
Edgar Cayce. Oh, okay.
Okay. Ra says, I am Ra. Ra says, are you ready? Are you holding on to your seats? I think you need to hold on. He says, no entity spoke through Edgar Cayce. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. That's just Ra's information. Maybe we can find it in another written
wow
translation.
This is naturally in his DNA. It's just him.
Just him, right? That's why it's okay to, ask these embodying questions of your higher beings. Ask the embodying question of your divine. And be patient with the answer. And sometimes the answer is, no, I don't have a download for you right now, but I love you. Keep living, keep enjoying, keep sharing, right? And then there are some downloads that are only meant for you, right?
Whoa.
So then the
Okay.
questioner says, pardon?
Sandee, all right.
Did
I'm about to show
you
you something
have
real quick.
Okay.
So Fifi, man, thank you again, Fifi, for putting the title of this second book that was mentioned. Wow. Okay. Here we are, everybody. So this book, wowzers. Paper 1, the Universal Father. Paper 2, the nature of God, the attributes of God, God's relation to the universe, God's relation to the individual, the eternal Son, relation of the eternal Son to the universe, the infinite Spirit, relation of the infinite Spirit to the universe, the Paradise Trinity, the eternal Isle of Paradise, the universe of universes, the sacred spheres of paradise, the central and divine universe, the 7 super universes, the 7 master spirits, 7 supreme spirit groups. Oh my, there's just like
And who was the author of this?
first human family. I'm not sure.
This one,
Melchizedek, Yahweh. Wowzers. This goes on for a good while.
a good while.
196 different pages here. And they're all like very profound topics.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. You guys see the website.
Uranta Foundation, custodians of the Uranta book, 1950.
Wow.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So then the questioner asks, where did the information come from that Edgar Case
Holy smokes.
channeled? Right? All right. Let's read. I am Ra. We have explained before that the intelligent infinity is brought into intelligent energy from 8th density and octave. The one sound vibratory complex that Edgar used this gateway to view the parent. Oh, hold on. I have to move the book. You know how it is. All the words go in the crease of the book, so I have to open the book a little, pull the book down. It's a brand new book. Okay, so Ross says the one sound vibratory complex called Edgar used this gateway to view the present, which is not the continuum you experience, but the potential social memory complex of this planetary sphere. The term you people have used for this is the Akashic Record or the Hall of Record. This is the last question that you can ask now, because the vessel that houses Ra is getting weak. But let's go to the questioner. Is there anything that we can do for the instrument for more comfortable? And then they start talking about the instrument. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to talk about, it picks up again, but it picks up in kind of length of the information. So they talk about the vessel's body and whatnot. But let me see if, let's see. trying to see if they pick up soon, because it got lost in then they start talking about third density. So I guess maybe that's all Ra wanted to talk about that. But I'm like, okay, it's going to come up again. But the thing is, I'm listening to the divine. The divine is wanting you to just know that you can discern and ask questions if you're not sure that what's being channeled to you is not for your highest and greatest good of yourself, serving yourself first. It's okay to serve yourself, right? There's a distortion that people kind of don't understand, that you have to love yourself, and that's serving yourself. That it's okay to put yourself in the story at the lead and take care of you. So therefore, when it's time for the story to progress, the story will progress with you in wholeness. I'm letting the divine find the words. And part of that is also knowing that if something doesn't feel good to you in your channeling or being channeled through, being used as a vessel, you can always go inward before sharing. You can always ask, who is this that is sharing this with me? You can ask. that the divine isn't such a entity of wholeness and all that is and all that isn't going to allow you to ask a question, that isn't going to allow you to say, hey, I don't really feel comfortable with this information, I need more. I need more. Or am I supposed to share this? Is this just for me? Whether it's reading cards, or whether it's doing tarot cards or oracle readings, whether it's doing light language channeling. Sometimes we have to ask. We want to be the healers, but sometimes we have to ask if it's the process that we have to do to heal somebody, or is it are we about to usurp their free will in healing them? Just because we know we have the power. Because we don't know what a person is thinking. If they're constantly thinking that their body isn't going to be healed, that's their free will thought. So then we have to sit down and we have to say, well, I want to serve, so give me the words. Let thy words be my words and my words be thy words. We're wholeness, we're one. So show me the way. Right? And the same thing with entities that are, hey, entities that are on a lower level, that are not physically taking form, but they're physically, they're conscious in the conscious realm, being your situation, your circumstance, or being the plethora of density, lower densities for you. You get to ask, who are you? You get to say, show yourself. Let me see those things that I cannot see. Show yourself. You're being my devil. Show me you. And then ask them a question, an embodying question. Why are you here? But be ready for the answer, because if you believe in whatever they're being for you, they're going to tell you the truth. They're obligated to tell you the truth. Because you want me to. I'm here for you. They have to pay, they do have to play the game fair. So they are required to answer your question, and they're required to move on when you say, nope, I'm going to surrender that energy, so you're going to have to go. They know they have to leave. They know they have to move on. They know that they can't channel through you. They can't move through you. Then they know that they're going to be seen by the light that's within you. So take what resonates, leave what doesn't. I mean, I looked for more in that little part, but hey, that's what the divine gave me. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Back to you, Mark. I called you Mark. I must feel comfortable. Whoa.
Mark. That's so funny. So, Nature Wolf, showing the love on the YouTube side. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the hearts. Appreciate you.
Yeah, it's amazing. Amazing. Just, I was kind of wondering, there was in the book, I think at the beginning of when we started this, they mentioned a name called Meldek. And I kind of wondered if that was also known as AKA Mott, but Mott is balance of order and justice.
Oh yeah, Mott.
Right? Okay. And so it was like, because I have it on a sticky stuck in my book. So, and it was at a place, it fell out my book before I came on. And it was in the place where I remember they were talking about Maldek, in the beginning of the channeling. So,
do you want to know about Meldek?
Yes, I think it was like, was it like? Oh, you know what? I can go to the glossary. Do you know much?
Meldek. Well,
because I know Meldek is not Mott. I know that much.
Wait. Are we talking about Meldek or Melchizedek?
No, it's Maldek, and let's see.
And this is a being or a planet?
I'm about to see, because as you said it, I was wondering if it's a solar system. But hold on. Page 94. This, I'm telling you, this book is, you could go back and forth and everything start to make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Here we go. Okay, once again, so the questioner asks, how were you able to make the transition from Venus? Did you have to change your dimension to walk upon Earth? This is when Ra was saying that they became a sixth density complex, right? So let's see, 94. Okay. So here, the questioner asks, is all of the Earth population then originally from Meldek?
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Okay. So yes, then that would be a planetary solar system.
Oh.
Right? Okay. So then Ross says, I am wrong. This is a new line of questioning and deserves a place of its own. The ones who were harvested to your sphere from the sphere known before its dissolution as other names, but to your people as Meldek, oh wow,
Oh,
incarnated, many within Earth's surface rather than upon it. The population of your planet contains many various groups harvested from other second dimensions and cycled third dimensional spheres. Spheres, SPHERES. You are not all one. Oh, okay. Are you ready? You want to hold the reins of your horses, please? Okay. You are all not. You are. Oh, I'm going to even slow it down. I'm going to slow it down. I'm just going to slow it down.
I already lost my horses.
You are not all one race or background of beginning. The experience you share is unique to this time and space continuum. I mean, we're from beyond the. You heard that, beyond the stars. We're not all from one place. We're not all from Maldek. We're not all from,
Oh my.
Oh my. Oh my. Oh my. What is that? The Wicked Witch.
This is the first time I've ever seen something outside of myself describe what I've literally been seeing and living by. Oh man.
Oh man. The questioner says, I think that it would be appropriate to discover how the law of one acts in this transfer of beings to our planet and the actions of harvest.
This music in the background.
I'm just saying.
Wow.
See, because me reading this and then me reading about reading the book, The Divine Design, and the Divine Design explaining how we were cultivated to believe in higher beings or terrestrial beings or aliens, and to be afraid of them, to fear them. And then to read that in the Divine Design, that what we consider aliens were higher beings that came from every realm that was within the dimension of the wholeness of the divine. Right? Okay. And then you go to Diane's books, her books about, people feeling like they come from other planets or other dimensions or other solar systems or whatnot. And they feel like they're being visited by aliens and taken on ships and all of this. And they are. They're taken on vehicles and ships, and sometimes they're not even taken on ships. They're just taken home to be healed, or to be to come home and visit for a little bit while we sleep, and all this stuff is happening. And it's the story. The divine just said, because I was about to say, and it's the real, but the divine says it's the story. Ross says to that question, the law of one states simply that all things are one, that all beings are one. So no matter where we come from in all of this universe, whether we're Arcturians or Palladians, or whether we're the Greys, or whether we're the reptilian, we're all one. We come from the divine.
Yeah.
We have a placement in the story. Why? Because we were all given the choice of free will to choose the beingness of us that are in these skin suits. We're given the choice for the polarity choice. At the moment I found out that my inner being was making a choice, I had to sit down and say, how can I help? How can I give you the story? I've been doing this. I think I've been doing this ass backwards, because I thought it was all about me and me having free will, and it's about my story, and it's about me in the form and me being happy and me being blah. But then I went, well, hold it, Sandra. If my higher being came to choose between the negative, the positive polarity and the higher polarity, and these choices that it gets to make as it ascends the polarity climb to merge back with the divine, well, I'm going to say, what can I do? Body, mind, and soul, what can I do? It's not, and if I'm Arcturian, I'm Arcturian. I don't care. I'm here right now in this now moment. What can I do for my higher being that came into this dense body and had to be veiled or slept for a while I was doing some shit that I shouldn't have been doing, and then enjoying myself. And other times it was great. But now that I'm kind of knowing that my higher being is here for a purpose, and he created this beautiful, gorgeous, sexy body on purpose with a purpose, I want to find out what the purpose is. And it doesn't matter if I'm Arcturian or if I'm Atlantean. Because what? Ra says, the law of one states simply that all things are one, that all beings are one. There are certain behaviors and thought forms consonant that with the understanding and the practice of the law. Consonant, not constant. But come on, let's get it back to the octaves. We all vibrate in an octave. Blow your mind?
Here we go. Life path numbers. Life path numbers are vibrational, energetic paths that we naturally resonate at when we're born.
And you want to know about my life path number? It's 4.
Oh.
And it talks about being I'm into money and accounting and blah blah blah. Well, for 40 years of my life, I have been in like 4 businesses, and I've been in the accounting department. Of course.
That's so funny.
Accounts receivable and collections. You know, it says more things about my life path number, that it was like, to me, the way it was presented, it was like, oh, this is dull. You mean I was meant to be an accountant and that's all I was meant to be? That's dull. But that story took me, my higher being, my body and my mind and my soul, and I created and crafted stories. Not just stories about me, but there were people in my story they were created and crafted especially for me to have that story. Is it blowing your mind yet? And we're still, what? He says, the law of one states simply that all things are one and all beings are one.
That's right. Never separated. Never, ever.
Never.
Not even possible. You can have an illusion of separation.
So the Ra goes on to say, those who, take the comma, finishing a cycle of experience, demonstrate grades of distortion that of that understanding of thought and action will be separate by their own choice into the vibratory distortion. Distortion is the journey. That's the word that they use so that they could not usurp our free will. Okay. Most compatible to their mind, body, spirit complex. Right? This process is guarded or watched by those nurturing beings who, being very close to the law of one in their distortion, nevertheless move towards active service. That's not just you that's making a choice between a higher polarity and or a positive and a negative, not just your higher being, but it's all of you and all those that are serving for your story. Take all of me. All right. So I heard something today that someone was very excited to live their generational their generational families journey for them. And I thought that very admirable. And I was sitting with it for a minute, because I was like, I had an embodying question to the divine. And the question was, they didn't live their story, and the divine said they did. Someone else just had the perception that they didn't. Because we're told that if you're told that you have a generational curse, then you're told that your forefathers or forebearers, you had to make it up for them.
Mm-hmm.
They lived a story, and they dropped some diamonds into your DNA so that you could have the story that you were supposed to live in your now moment.
There it is.
And here's the embodying question. You can always ask, what's in my if you go into a meditational moment and actually sit there and vibrate with the question, what is in my mother's Akashic records? Understand this, that in third density, once my mother left, I believe, but you don't have to. If you're still believing Akashic records in a certain way, keep doing it. It doesn't mean it's wrong. It just means that there are several different layers to how you perceive the information. And then when you're ready to grow, you grow. But I had the question, it's like, if the Akashic records that was in my mom's DNA was for her higher being, and her higher being is no longer with that form body, her higher being no longer needs that DNA. And the divine says, you're absolutely correct, because now I have it. The divine has all of it. If you want to know where somebody's getting your information for your Akashic records, ask them. Are they going straight to the Great Hall of the Divine? Or are they actually accessing what are they telling you? They're accessing your mother's higher being's DNA, the Akashic records. This is the way to know if the truth is truth for you. And the divine says, if they're telling you they're going to your higher being, they're not getting that anymore. It's not there. And I went, oh, but If they're telling you they're tapping into me, they're getting all of the goodies. They're getting all of the nougats. Wow, Instagram just we've been on an hour already.
Down
Wow.
goes IG.
Hmm?
Down goes IG.
Down goes IG. But right? So I went, oh. So then there are people that are tapping in. They're going straight to the big guy. Right? But you get to ask. You get to have an embodying question just like I did. Now, will you get the answer that you want? Maybe, maybe not. Because you have to understand you're having a story. It doesn't have to change unless you want it to. But the divine is telling you the Akashic records are there and they're available. How do you want them to be available?
Yeah.
Right? Guess what? Those little diamonds that your mother or father left in your DNA, that's a part of your Akashic records. And that can also be read too. Those little diamonds that were left from your mother or your father, or your grandmother or your grandfather, or your great-grandmother or your great-grandfather. Can we go on? Or your great-great-grandmother or your great-great-grandfather. We keep going. Right? There's so many infinite possibilities. And the divine wants you to also know, once you start seeing 3D from 4D consciousness or 5D consciousness, the availability of Akashic records are no longer necessary. You have shifted into a whole different arena. You may be, yes, your physical body is here in 3D, but you're in a different consciousness. You're walking in a different consciousness. You're seeing in a different consciousness. And some people are, and you can tell when some people go, you don't care about that anymore? Because you're looking at things from a whole different viewpoint. I had somebody ask, we had a thing happen today around the neighborhood where they were looking for a particular gentleman. He had came through our building and hopped the fence over to another building, right? And one of the ladies said the police had came in and they, had, made some statements, asked what was going on. Did we see anything? And one lady actually had saw this person before us two were there, right? And the helicopter was, circling. It started out very wide and then it got very, how it got small, the circle, literally, I'm going to tell you, it was counterclockwise. I watched the helicopter counterclockwise. That was my consciousness from 4D, 5D, whatever D the divine has moved me to. And it was counterclockwise. And I watched that helicopter till it centered in on a certain point. And then a lady says, well, we better all go inside before we get hit by a flyby bullet. That's exactly what I said. So I'm supposed to stop doing what I need to do and then let my dog enjoy play date with the dog because I'm going to have a vibration of a stray bullet. I said, okay, you go ahead and go in, enjoy yourself and be safe. And I kept letting my dog do what he needed to do, play with the others until my dog looked at me and literally this is what he does when he finds that he needs to protect me or say, okay, we need to go. He will bump up against my leg and sit on my feet and put his head on my lap and say, it's time to go now. When I got that, it was like, okay, time to go. It wasn't about a flyby bullet. It wasn't about the story shifting into my thing. And the lady goes, "You're not scared?" As she's walking out the gate. No, I don't see it that way anymore. Now, if the police had said, "Would you please go to your homes? Everybody go to your homes," or whatnot, then I'd obey them and I'd go to my home, go to my home. I'm not gonna try to help them, find the guy. But if they know that he's in proximity and they're about to if they ask me to go, yeah. But it's not about fear. It's about being obedient to help them do their job, but not fear. And the lady just said, "Oh, you're not scared?" No, I'm not. I see it a different way. I'm going to, unless you show me the guy. Oh, there's the guy. Then, okay, we can all, go our different ways. I'm going to be smart, but I don't see it that way. My 5D doesn't see the political arena the same way I used to see it.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't. I take my time. I don't see. Sometimes I'm going to tell you, time is just oblivious. I'll wake up, look at the clock. I swear it says 10, and then look at it again, and it says 8:15. It's like, okay, what dimension did I just wake up at 10? And now I just shifted into another dimension that said 8:15. It's like, whoa, did I just move time?
Mm-hmm.
Did I just shift? Was I coming out of waking up at a time where it was 10 or 10:15, and then I moved back into another, I finally woke up all the way, and I'm in another dimension that says 8:15. My body is just tingling at the fact that, whoa, I traversed across timelines and totally aware of it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just, all I can say is it goes back to the raw saying that everything is one. The past is one, a now moment. The present is a now moment. And the future is a now moment. And it's all one now moment. We're multidimensional beings. We can do it all at once. And whoa, be aware of it. And we can be aware of who's channeling through us, who's using our body without our fucking permission. What beingness is that bold that it thinks that I'm not going to ask, who the fuck are you? And is it whatever you're giving me, is it for my highest and greatest good? What role are you trying to play? You're trying to come in and pretend that you're the divine? The divine, the moment I ask the divine is going to give me the answer. It's not going to play at it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And yes, there are some people that have their own information that they want to share. Not that it's wrong, but when they're sharing their information and they're giving it to you, and they're giving it to you in spiritual context, you can ask if it's for your highest and greatest good. Because yes, a lot of people are using their ego, and maybe even their ego is playing them. Why? Because ego has been on the scene for a very long time and knows how to perpetrate being the divine. It just can't be it for long stretches of time. It breaks down. Back to you, Marcus.
Oh, smokes. Wow. Uh,
Holy smokes.
well, I have to say, you know, that Maldek thing is very interesting and intriguing because, you know, I did this session that I serve, and that session is called a soul origin meditation.
Mhm.
And it's this very unique and authentic practice I came up with through my spirit. And it regards basically Akashic Records reading mixed with a guided meditation. And long story short, I had this, I want to say client, but honestly, it's like a sister in the community, and her name's Sarah Broadhead, and she's very open about this experience as well. But she
Yeah.
received one of these sessions through me, and we had tapped into her records so we can discover what her soul lineage was. And through that uncovering, I had came into awareness of the planet Meldek. And through the awareness of Meldek was where I discovered that her origin was from. And I learned about Meldek and like how high dimensional of a society it was. And their technologies were very advanced. But what had happened was they had became basically self-absorbed from their advancements and their powers and technologies that they ended up destroying their own planet. So now we don't have Meldek any longer in this timeline that we're in, according to the raw timeline of knowledge. And through that, some things happened with this solar system. And I don't know, maybe Ra may touch on that as we continue on. But for that confirmation, though, to come through right now, through Ra and his channel messages, on top of me actually doing one of those practices and uncovering the planet Meldek into my awareness through that session with her. Wow, you know, it's very interesting. And Meldek has a very close relationship with Mars. So a lot of
Yeah.
Mars beings are highly connected to Meldekian beings. And
Is it Mars or
wow.
in here? I thought it said Venus, but I might be wrong.
Oh
It
yeah,
might-
there's a connection with Venus throughout the history of the solar system and everything.
Right. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. All I can say is wow. All I can say is this book where you think you're done, where you think you're done, and then the divine says, "Okay, go back and read." Now it's the divine is pulling it apart, sentence by sentence, or sometimes a paragraph, and it can be our whole hour can be about that, and then go, you know.
Mhm.
I'm just like, oh, really? You want me to talk about channeling? Well, where am I going to get that from? And then the divine says, okay, let's go back to what you read before. And the thing is, I read it, but I didn't think very much of it because I was still immersed in the information about the pyramids, the information about, the fact that it took 75,000 years for them to come back to now come back and give us this information. Now we as far as Ra was concerned, we had advanced as to the fact that we didn't need the pyramids anymore to heal ourselves, because now we could actually access the healing within within ourselves. We could actually access that within our chakras, within our energy points, you know, and whatnot. And I was like, whoa, I got to go back and read that. I think I read about the fact of Ross saying we had intention and intention plus plus energy equals creation. But the fact that the rocks were living and heard Ra speak and say, okay, go up there. Okay, now go on top. You go on top of there. And until this pyramid was built, it blew every my mind. I mean, it blew every cell of my body, was like, what? It was like in my whole body was just in like these octaves of like, oh. Then it took me back to when I was a kid, and I used to play around in the car when we would take road trips, and how all the red lights, all the lights would turn red, and I'd be sitting in the car, green, and it would turn green, and we'd just be laughing because we thought it was cute, but I was making those lights turn green. I was a kid, I didn't know it. Now to think about it, as far as Ra is saying, everything, even man-made things, have a living, have a vibrational octave in it, and it's like, oh, okay, that's what power is. That's what power in creation is. And I was like, okay, I'm even still going back to that, and going, I need more. I need more of this, I need to find out. I am so blown away now. I am so high, and I haven't smoked anything. I don't smoke anything. I am high. Okay.
Wow.
I'm just like, I mean, I was going to also talk about balancing self to achieve perfect equalization, so, but we're going to do that because I do have to, actually, I have to organize, and I have to organize and then actually, I've got to drink some water because I am.
Ooh-wee.
Yeah, it kind of feels like I smoked something and I've got this dry mouth and I got it. My water, my container is empty of water now because I drank so much.
Uh-oh.
That kind of thing. But it just blew my mind,
Where's Snoop Dogg at?
No, we don't need Snoop Dogg. No.
Long Beach.
Is he in Long Beach? LBC. Okay. Yeah.
It's kind of hard for you to be a double G.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you. But definitely, I am so glad we did this part 2.
Oh, man. You don't even know. It's
definitely.
Man.
Let me, I had wrote down something that I was listening to the Law of One through YouTube, through a guy named Aaron Abke. And he had, I remember writing this down. It's called Master, it was like the Law of One, 2 historical figures, right? There were two people who, through their higher beings that took on the attributes of the lower dimensional entities. There were 2 human beings that were perceived to be just pure evil, right? And the 2 were, one was called Rasputin and the other was called Genghis Khan, right?
Ooh, Genghis Khan.
Right? they uh, they they did graduate to fourth density, but it was fourth density in the negative, right? Okay, and what it says was by the time you get to sixth density, the role has to be flipped. That in order to merge back with the divine, all divine is one love. So everything has to move back to love. So it has to go back to the positive service to all and to self, right? Okay. So with Genghis Khan and Rasputin, they didn't. They turned around and said, we're not going back, we're doing this again, right? And so what they did was negative entities cannot polarize. This is what Ra said in the book. I've got to go find it, but it was what Aaron was sharing with what he read in the book. Now, it might not be in the Law of One, Book 1. It might be in Book 2. I'm not sure, but it says negative entities cannot polarize past early sixth density. There are no negative oriented higher selves, right? So that means that once they get to fifth density, they either get to say to the divine, hey, I'm going back. They have the opportunity not to merge. They can turn around as a higher being and go back. They don't have to take a body form. And what really kind of blew my mind is that normally they don't take form because they don't want to be seen by our light. Our higher beings can tell a negative polarity entity in form body. So it doesn't take form. It just becomes a consciousness, and it takes on our situations, our circumstances. It takes on what we believe in. You know, if we believe in if we believe in ghost or poltergeist or stuff like that, if we believe in dark entities and whatnot, it takes on those. And why it takes on that is because we give it free will. If we believe it, it becomes it. Right? But it doesn't come back in form body because we'll see it. They don't want to be seen. They don't want to be acknowledged by light. I was like, whoa. So it says tyranny, control, and enslavement is part of, you know, the lower vibrations that they take on. So it says the master entity polarizes by enslaving and controlling / giving orders by creating envy, right? It says the enslaved entity polarizes by gaining wisdom and following orders. So what I found out, and I had to sit with it a while, is it wants to indoctrinate other souls to choose the negative path.
Yep.
Okay, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if it happens to take on a form body, you might have like what is that? Jim Jones, where he led all the people to commit suicide all at once. Maybe something like that. Okay, or whatnot, you know. But it's always in the lower polarities. And I just went, whoa, right? And they also seem less organized, right? So it's like, whoa. And they're not into their heart chakra. it's not about love. I was like, oh,
Gosh, I feel so seen right now.
I'm just so much, so much. It's like, whoa. Negative skips the heart chakra, right? If they're in form body, you're never in alignment, because it bypasses the heart chakra altogether, and the heart chakra is what aligns the three lower chakras and the three upper chakras. The heart chakra is the one love that the divine is.
Yep.
Whoa, right? Anyway, all I can say is see you on Sunday.
I don't know if I'll make it to Sunday after this. Holy smokes.
I'm just, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. All right.
Wow.
I'm just saying, wow. That's all, folks. Da-da-da-da-da. That's all.
Wow. And on that note,
Mm.
it's almost 1 a.m. here.
Oh my God, yes.
And I feel like I have been surged by Ra.
I feel like, oh my God. I mean, the more I share, the more I learn. It's if you consider me your teacher has just been the student.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say is I've been opened up.
There's some powerful stuff. Like, wow.
Definitely. If I can feel this good with book 1, I got to get book 2. And believe me, I'm ordering it. Hopefully it's still available. I'm ordering it tomorrow. So we're going to have book 2. We will be comparing book 2 and book 1 at the same time. I'm thinking,
Lord.
some good porridge, people.
Be on the lookout, everybody. And
all right.
Just so you guys know, we'll be remastering all of the first season of the first book once we're finished with the whole season of it. And you guys will have it nice and remastered on the YouTube channels. Both YouTube channels, that is.
Yes.
And for now, you guys have a blessed night. We'll be back on Sunday, and we will be at our new starting time on Sunday, 3:33 p.m. Pacific time, as well as 6:33 p.m. Eastern time for episode 6 of Ascending Beyond Limitations, the Raw Material Law of One study. I am Marcus Christolight of Sacred Light Healing and Wellness, and that is Sandee M., our co-host here in this space, Long Beach.
Sandee M. I was about to say soul conversations, man. Hey, was this not a soul conversation? I'm just saying, but soul awakening with Sandra.
Wow.
I love this. All I gotta say is ask an embodying question. Sit at the seat of your soul, ask an embodying question, and just open yourself up to a answer or many answers. It's your birthright.
That's right.
Right.
Everybody,
Peace.
have a blessed night. You as well, Sandee. Wholeness and one love.
One love. Okay.
with it, we off in the hood like some wizards. Nobody ever gave us anything. Meant something from nothing, just like magicians. Gotta relearn everything. Just to remember that I was forgetting. Just to remember that we had a vision. Did it all, don't know how I did it. Time to go Starseed to go and you know those crystal truths. Let them know we in here, yeah, we in the building. Starseed to go and you know those crystal truths. Back up in the matrix, yeah, we know the vision. Starseed to go and you know those crystal truths. Let them know we in here, yeah, we in the building. Starseed to go and you know those crystal truths. Back up in the matrix, yeah, we on the mission. Off on the mission, you know how it goes. Off in the system, they turn up their nose. They took all the soil, but they didn't know. Through the concrete, you see the ropes. Eyes ain't open, don't mean I ain't woke. Ain't got no cash, don't mean that I'm broke.